Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Wonderlands War Duel.
Boom. Wonderlands War Duel is, of course, a two-player game designed by Tim and Ben Eisner and J.B. Howell. It's published by Druid City Games, who help sponsor this video.
Now everything you see here today is in prototype form and may be subject to change. But with that said, let's go to the table and let's learn how to play. As always, you'll begin by setting up. Start by placing the game board in the center of your play area. Next, shuffle the two quest decks, the two Tea Party decks, and the Tea and Crumpet deck and place them above the main board. Then flip the top two cards of the round 1 quest deck face up next to the deck. Now, deal out 9 cards from the round 1 Tea Party deck, the blue one, face up into the 9 slots on the game board. Next, it's time to prepare the allies. Choose or randomly select 1 card of each ally type. Place these next to the game board and return the rest to the box. Then place all ally chips on their matching cards. After that, place the Forge and Pepper cards beside the allies, along with the corresponding chips. Now let's prepare the Wonderlandians. Shuffle the Wonderlandian cards and place the deck above the ally cards. Flip 3 cards face up next to the deck and place the matching Wonderlandian chips or standees on those cards. You'll keep the rest nearby, they'll be used later in the game. Next, place the Madness shards, chips, and die in the general supply near the board. Then, take the 5 white rabbit cards and shuffle them. Draw 1 card at random to use in this game and place it above the board along with the standee. The rest can go back to the box. Now it's time to prepare the allegiance tokens. Place them all into the allegiance bag and mix them thoroughly. Then, draw 2 tokens from the bag and place them face up on the square spaces in each of the board's 5 regions. Finally, draw 1 more face-up token for each square space on the battle track. Once that's done, you'll choose the first player and you're now ready for player setup. You'll first each choose a faction and gather all the corresponding components for that faction, which include a player board, 4 artifact chips, 1 faction shield token, 1 faction guide card, a faction leader standee, and any faction-specific components. You'll then choose a player color and collect the 6 base chips of that color, 4 track markers, 10 supporter figures, and a battle bag, which you'll now assemble. You'll place the 6 base chips along with 1 Forge, 1 Pepper, 1 Double Madness, and 2 Madness chips into your bag. You should have 11 chips in total to start. Next, you'll place your 10 supporters and your leader standee in your personal supply next to your player board. Place your 4 artifact chips in their designated unlock slots at the end of each Forge track, 2 of your track markers over your 2 locked leader abilities on your player board, 1 on the leader strength starting space, and 1 on the battle track on the main board. You'll place your shield on your player board on broken side face up, and then follow any additional setup steps as noted on your faction guide card. Finally, you'll draw 3 Tea and Crumpet cards from the deck. You'll choose 1 card to be a personal quest and place it face down next to your player board. 1 to determine your starting supporter deployment, placing the indicated number of supporters in the indicated regions. If you're the first player, you'll also position the white rabbit as indicated on this card. Finally, your last remaining Tea and Crumpet card will determine your starting Wonderlandian. Search through the Wonderlandian deck, collect the indicated card, and place it face up in your play area, along with your matching standee. You'll then discard the Tea and Crumpet cards you chose to determine your supporter deployment and your Wonderlandian. You're now ready to play. In Wonderlands War Duel, you'll take on the role of a famous Wonderlandian, leading your faction of followers into battle to shape Wonderland in your own vision. The game is played over 2 rounds. Each round begins with the Tea Party phase, where you'll gather allies, strengthen your forces, and deploy your supporters and Wonderlandians into regions across Wonderland to prepare for battle. After that comes the War phase, where each region erupts into conflict. You'll draw chips from your battle bag to strengthen your forces, trigger abilities, and push your luck, trying to claim victory without falling into madness. At the end of the second round, you'll compare your collections of allegiance tokens. The player with more majorities across the 5 allegiance types will win the game. But beware, madness lurks around every choice. If you ever collect your 13th madness shard, you'll immediately lose the game. Now let's take a look at how each phase works, starting with the Tea Party phase. During the Tea Party phase, you'll take turns selecting rows and columns of cards from the board to gain their effects. The first player will choose any row or column and resolve all 3 cards in that line, discarding each card after resolving it. The second player then chooses 1 row and 1 column, resolving all the cards in those spaces for a total of 4 cards. Once both players have drafted, you'll discard any unchosen cards and deal out 9 new Tea Party cards from the same round's deck. Now the second player drafts first, choosing 1 column or row, and then the other player will draft a row and a column. After 2 rounds of drafting, each player will have resolved 7 Tea Party cards in total. Now let's break down the different types of cards you'll see. This symbol is how you'll deploy units to a region in Wonderland. You can deploy your supporters and or your Wonderlandians. You may not deploy your leader though, as they'll be deployed in a separate step. Additionally, you may only deploy your units to one region for each of the actions. You cannot split your deployment. This symbol will advance your leader's strength, making your leader standee stronger for the battles to come. This icon will remove one of your markers from your faction board to unlock one of your leader's abilities, which can now be used for the rest of the game. These icons will grant you specific chips as indicated, or allow you to choose any chip of your choice from the supply. You'll add these to your bag. Similarly, this one lets you choose a Wonderlandian from the queue to add to your faction. If the Wonderlandian has a standee, you'll deploy it immediately to any region. If it's a chip, you'll place it into your bag. You'll refill the queue immediately after taking the Wonderlandian. This icon will let you choose an ally chip from the supply and forge it. When you forge, you'll place the chip on any leftmost forge space on your faction board and gain what you've covered, which sometimes increases your strength, gives you the ability to send units to the map, and so on. This icon lets you flip your shield to its unbroken side, and this one advances your battle tracker to the indicated space. You'll only benefit from this in the first battle. Additionally, you'll gain allegiance tokens from these icons. This one lets you draw random allegiance tokens from the bag, which you'll keep hidden from the other player. And this one lets you discard one of your visible allegiance tokens to gain a random token from the bag, which you'll also keep hidden. Finally, some of the cards will contribute to your madness. Any cards with this icon will have you roll the madness die and obtain the corresponding shards. This icon causes you to just gain a madness shard. You can always discard them when you see this icon, and sometimes even give them to your opponent when you see this icon. Now once you've both resolved your cards chosen, you'll proceed to the end of the Tea Party phase. Here, the last player that selected Tea Party cards, the first player, will place their leader standee in any region. Then the other player will do the same, placing their leader standee in any region. Finally, both players will add a madness chip to their battle bag, and you're now ready for the war phase, where you'll battle. Now you'll resolve battles one region at a time, starting with the White Rabbits region, and then moving clockwise around the board. At the start of each battle, you'll determine your starting strength. You'll add strength from any Wonderlandians you have in the region, and your leader strength from the faction board if they are present. Once the starting strength has been set, both players will reach into their battle bags, draw a chip at the same time, and reveal them together. Each chip drawn will progress the battle, increasing your strength, triggering abilities, and causing madness. After each draw, you'll decide whether to draw again or halt. If you halt, pretend to draw but reveal an empty hand instead. Once you halt, you're done for the battle, but your opponent can still continue drawing until they either halt or bust. Now a battle ends when both players have halted, when someone busts by losing their last unit, or when a player reaches 25 strength on the battle track. Now that you understand the flow of battle, let's give you some details on the chips you'll draw and what the outcome of the battle means for your strategy. When you reveal a chip, one of 3 things can happen. It can add strength, trigger a special ability, or cause madness. If you draw a madness chip, you'll lose units in that region, either 1 or 2 depending on the chip. Once you've removed the units, you'll place the madness chip on the leftmost open space of your madness track. Your leader, if present, is always the last unit to be removed. Now, if you don't want to remove units, you may use your Unbroken Shield to ignore the effects of the madness chip. If you do, you'll flip your shield to the broken side, return that chip to your bag, and resolve your faction's shield ability from your guide card. You'll often use your shield to avoid busting, which happens when you lose your final unit in that region. If you bust, the battle immediately ends and your opponent wins a superior victory. You'll reset your battle marker to 0, move all your active chips to your exhausted section, and refresh your shield to its unbroken side. Now let's talk about refreshing. If you ever place a madness chip into the 4th slot of your madness track, you'll refresh your bag, returning all madness chips and exhausted chips to your bag, but leaving the active ones where they are. Now that's if you draw a madness chip. If you didn't draw a madness chip, you'll gain strength equal to the printed value of the chip drawn and place it in your active row. Ally and Wonderlandian chips often have unique effects. Make sure to check their cards before adding their strength, as it may be modified. Now when revealing chips, you'll usually resolve them together. However, if timing ever does matter, you follow this order. You'll first resolve the madness chips. Then, any chips that affect you or your own components, and finally any chips that affect your opponent. Once both effects have been resolved, you'll each decide whether to draw again or halt, and continue playing as described previously. The other thing you should note is that your first battle will always take place in the region with a White Rabbit standee, which means the White Rabbit's effect is active. This effect varies from game to game and applies to both players, so read it carefully before starting your first fight. Let's now go into the battle outcome steps. First, you'll determine the victory. When a battle ends, you'll compare your strength. The player with a higher strength will win. Now, if the difference is 4 or fewer, you've claimed a standard victory. You'll take both the allegiance tokens from that region. If the difference is 5 or more, or if your opponent busted, you've claimed a superior victory, and you'll also gain the region's bonus in addition to the allegiance tokens. Let's quickly run through the region bonuses. In the Red Keep, you'll forge an ally ship directly from the supply. At Wit's End, your opponent will gain 2 madness shards. In the Meadow of Living Flowers, you'll draw and gain 1 allegiance token from the bag, which you'll keep hidden. In the Pool of Tears, you'll gain any chip and strike 1 shard. And finally, in the Tulgate Woods, you'll gain a Wonderlandian, refilling the queue as usual. After resolving the battle outcome, you'll check if you've completed any quests, receiving the bonuses from them. You may only complete quests if you have a standee in that region's battle, either a Wonderlandian or your leader. When you complete a quest, you'll earn 1 allegiance token which you'll draw from the bag and keep hidden from your opponent. You can complete public quests once per battle as long as you have a standee present, meaning you can complete them multiple times throughout the game. Your Wonderlandians quests and your personal quests you can only complete once per game. You'll place the allegiance token on the Wonderlandian card to mark that you've completed this quest, and place your personal quest face up in your play area when completed. You'll treat the allegiance icons on your personal quests as allegiance tokens for the end of the game. After checking and resolving any quests, you'll resolve any chip abilities that trigger at the end of the battle. You'll then take any battle track bonuses if you halted on a space with one, and take any forge actions you've earned. When you forge, you'll move any chip in your active row to a forge track on your faction board and gain the reward shown. If you complete a row, you'll add its artifact chip to your bag for future battles. Finally, you'll move all chips from your active row into your exhausted section, reset your battle track marker to 0, and prepare for battle in the next region. Once all regions are resolved, the round ends and you'll proceed to the end of round phase. If this was a second round, you'll skip to final scoring. Otherwise, roll the madness die and move the White Rabbit standee clockwise that many regions. You'll then refresh your battle bag by returning all chips from your exhausted section and madness track to your bag, and you'll return your leader to your supply. The player who went first this round becomes the second player for the next round. You'll then discard all remaining Tea Party cards from the board, deal out 9 new cards to the next round's track, add 2 new allegiance tokens to each region to reset the stakes for the next set of battles, and replace the quest cards with 2 new ones from the Quest 2 deck. Once this is done, you're ready to begin the next Tea Party phase. After the second round's completed, the game ends. At this point, you'll reveal all your allegiance tokens, both visible and hidden. For each of the 5 types, compare how many each player has. The player with more types will win that allegiance. If tied, neither player claims it. The player who wins most allegiance types will win the game. If you're tied on allegiances, the player with the fewer madness shards wins. And if you're still tied, the game ends in a draw. As a reminder, the game could also end earlier. If any player collects the 13th madness shard during play, they immediately lose the game. When you're finished with your game, try out another faction. Each one is asymmetric with its own unique abilities and playstyle that can change how you approach the Tea Party phase and the battles that follow.
And that's Wonderlands War Duel.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can.
And of course, if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because we love talking and teaching board games.
And hit that little bell, because then you know when our next videos come out and we can all partake in the joy of board gaming.
Exactly.
Now, this game is coming to crowdfunding. It may already be there, so click that link down below so you can learn much, much more about it. But for our question of the day, what nursery rhyme would you love to see a board game flourish out of?
Oh, fun.
What would it be?
Let us know down in the comments below, but until next time, we will see you later.
Bye.